Hello everybody and welcome to Working Title Productions. My name's Ben, his name is Ed, and we're here to bring you another episode of Movie Talk. And today, we've got a little bit of a hybrid episode for you. It's one half review and one half sort of movie conversational topic, because the movie we're about to review, it's been out for a long time, hasn't it, Ed? At least overseas. In Australia, it's only been out for a little while.
Came out late November in the US, but we got it very late.
I can't quite remember the specific release date either. It's been a long time over there. That movie is Manchester by the Sea. You probably figured out if you read the title or see the thumbnail, so no point holding it from you. The reason we're talking about it, of course, is that, one, it's been nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. We kind of felt like it was important that we try to see it at some point as soon as possible. The second reason we're talking about it today is that we have a fairly different opinion to most people.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, I want to say that we don't think it's a bad movie. Well, I certainly don't. You don't either.
No, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's quite good.
It is really good. But there are some big flaws that we found with the movie that we really feel like no one else is talking about. And there are kind of reasons for it. I don't want to talk about that just yet because we get into the shallower ends of the pool that is spoilers.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about the good things first and we'll get to that critique later, hopefully, to try and save as many people as possible. It doesn't ruin the movie, but just to spare people if they want to know absolutely as little as possible going in, we'll save that for later. Straight off the bat, Casey Affleck.
Oh man, this movie is absolutely carried on the back of its performances.
Absolutely.
The performances in this movie are
Exceptional
across the board fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, out of the main characters, there's and then probably the half dozen or so supporting characters. No one's bad in this movie.
Oh yeah, not a single.
Everyone does really, really well. And as you said, Casey Affleck. Oh my gosh, absolute. Just, it's hard to use powerhouse for such a subdued performance.
It is brilliantly subtle performance.
It's there's something about him that like he just nails like the feelings and like the tone of this character and how he interacts with different people
and of the film as well.
Yeah, for sure. And he does get certain scenes where he gets to absolutely shine, and it's like really fantastic. It's really good.
I would say a lesser filmmaker in the director and a not lesser actor, but perhaps a more enthused actor would be tempted a couple of times in this movie to have a big dramatic scene with large amounts of monologuing and like a big dramatic reveal about a character and how they really feel inside. The director never really gives that scene in this movie, and Casey Affleck never tries to make it happen ever. He never really it's alright. He never really tries to like blow up at anyone. It's just always constantly subdued. It's all internalized inside of him, and he's just very quiet and not robotic and like poorly acted. Robotic as in like this guy is just showing as little as he can on the outside and just keeping all of his self-resentment and all of his anger inside of himself. And you only see it in like very subtle sort of character quirks and like just sort of the way he moves. It's a wonderfully subdued performance, and it's exactly what this film needs, and he just brings it to life. I actually personally think he should win the Best Actor Oscar. I think he did an excellent job.
Yeah, I believe the other nominees are Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, and Gosling for La La Land, and then possibly someone from Hello High Water, and Denzel Washington as well for Fences. We haven't seen Fences. We haven't seen Hello High Water. Between the other two that we mentioned that we've seen that we both really liked as well. Yeah. I would probably agree. Casey Affleck.
Yeah, Casey Affleck
best out of the three of them.
Definitely better than Garfield, and I would say definitely better than Gosling as well.
I agree.
Not that they do bad jobs, but this is just phenomenally better.
I agree with what you said about the just really like subtle mannerisms, that sort of thing, and how just for the entire movie he just has to hold everything back. Yeah. I would like to, but there is one really key scene where he just absolutely gets it cut loose. And just be this character and just
later in the movie.
Oh, it's really good.
But even then, it doesn't go crazy out of control. Yeah. He just sort of loses it just for a little bit. His emotion switches from one to another, and then he very quickly regains control of himself, and he just like leaves before it can happen again. It's like,
and on the point of what you said about the actual filmmaking of it, the film is really good at the show not tell style of storytelling, which I think is really, really important thing to nail. And I feel like this movie does a really, really good job of it. Like, there are specific sequences that are really, really well shot and just like, I don't know, man, they're just really well done.
They are, yeah.
And then, like, the point of those sequences, like, comes through, and then you're like, whoa.
Definitely.
And you instantly know just how Casey Affleck's character is feeling and how other characters are feeling, and you're just like, man.
I certainly agree. I personally despise it when people say character X does is thing Y, and they just keep saying it, but no one ever really sees it. You see a very different character. I despise that in all forms. This film is a complete opposite. It really does just exhibit everything these characters are. You know, there's nothing really left untold, I should say. I was going to say unsaid, but that would be ironically wrong. No stone is left unturned in the development of these characters as they are at the start of the movie. What they are at the end of the movie, we'll get to later. Technically speaking, it was hard for me to look at this film technically, because we had to see this in an older theatre without reserved seating, because it was the only one that was showing Manchester by the Sea.
In our area.
Yeah, in our area, which was annoying. So, due to various circumstances, we had to sit at the very front of the theatre. I want to talk about Carl Chandler playing Joe Chandler. Why they get a guy with the same last name. Thanks for confusing me, crew of Manchester by the Sea. That just made it a whole lot more confusing.
Unless it's an adapted screenplay, at which point.
True.
No, I'm serious. I can't remember if it's an original or adapted.
Yeah.
I'm about to check.
Carl Chandler plays Joe Chandler.
Original screenplay. Shame on you, Manchester by the Sea, for last names.
How dare you choose a last name that's already in your cast. Whatever. He does an excellent job. You only see him in flashback form. He's never really in the present day sequences of the movie.
I mean,
he still does
when he's dead.
Oh yeah, when he's
it's not a spoiler.
It's the easiest thing you could possibly do is just lie there. He does an excellent job. I'm just going through the cast right now. Pretty much, everyone does a great job. It's, for the most part, this focuses around Casey Affleck. It focuses around Justin Hedges.
Lucas Hedges. So close. See, I didn't get that. I found it actually really annoying that they didn't explain what these characters are. Because when you first see George, I thought that's his dad, but it's not.
Yeah.
So the film doesn't do an amazing job of explaining actually how everyone's actually connected together. That was something that I thought during it. I was like,
yeah, definitely.
Who are you? Who? What?
Definitely.
Why do you matter?
Why do a lot of things matter is the question in this movie. Because now it needs to be said, we have to get into our big fault with the movie. So, if you just absolutely don't want to know anything spoiler related at all, we're not going crazy spoilers here, but we do start to get into the waters a bit. Leave now. And that's because what we've got to talk about is how no one changes in this movie.
Yeah, we won't talk about story points and that sort of thing, but
we'll try not to.
We kind of do have to talk about character points, of which there aren't many, which is kind of the spoiler.
There are none.
There's one.
One?
Well, I really like how at the very end Lee Chandler admits why he can't stay there, why he can't...
Yeah, I guess.
It's not so much as a change, but it's almost like a cathartic moment, of him admitting
he can't be this person that his nephew needs to be.
But that's all we get, and then him admitting that doesn't really change much for either of them.
Yeah, definitely. It happens.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
It is.
It's really
extremely frustrating.
Really frustrating.
This 2-hour movie feels like a 3-hour movie. But then when we finally got to the end, I remember specifically leaning over to my girlfriend who I was sitting next to, just being like, this is such a long movie. And then it fades to black. And it's just like, wait, that's the end? What was the point? what did I just sit through?
I was so frustrated.
Like, there is a point to this movie, and a lot of people will appreciate it. Like, I already told this to you, or went home and did some research, because this film got nominated for Best Picture. I had to at least see why other people thought it was so good, even if it didn't reach me on a personal level. And that's that the film isn't trying to give you a catharsis. It's not trying to give you a nice, pretty answer for all of these tough things that all of its characters are dealing with. It wants to be ballsy, it wants to be edgy, it wants to show you that sometimes things just don't get better. Sometimes there isn't an easy answer for anything. And that's interesting. But I don't need my characters to be happy at the end of the movie. I don't need them to have these brilliant revelations about life and death. I just need them to learn something or change a little bit. And apart from Lee Chandler, played by Casey Affleck, finally admitting near the end of the movie that he can't be the uncle that his nephew needs him to be, no one changes and no one learns anything. The kid, Patrick, never changes at all the entire movie. He's a kind of sad kid with a dead dad who goes around and hangs out with his friends to escape the reality that his dad is dead, has a couple of girlfriends, sleeps his way around, and I won't say much more because that's spoilers.
But he's not even that sad.
Yeah, he doesn't look sad. He's just there doing this thing, being a womanizer and a guy that plays hockey and basketball, which we don't even see. And
thank God.
Yeah, that would have been boring.
Most of the time.
And he's in a band.
Like, it's just so weird. It's like, and like...
The potential is there.
They build it up really well. Like, they build, like, all these different things. Like, there's different aspects of these characters. Like,
a few story arcs get set up.
And then the movie just
finishes.
ends.
Yeah, and the movie ends without resolving any of them at all.
Oh my
God.
God.
I don't mind if most of them get resolved, because that's kind of the point of this movie. There aren't easy answers most of the time in the real world. But absolutely nothing gets resolved here. It's like, hey, look, here's a kid. His dad's dead, but he was a great guy. Oh, he's a bit of a womanizer, and he keeps asking his uncle for money and lifts and stuff, and he's just not very responsible. I wonder if his uncle, who's a very straightforward talking person, will ever just tell him, you need to grow up and be more like your father. That doesn't happen.
It's just 2 hours of people not being able to communicate properly.
Yeah, pretty much. Especially, like, and
not a movie.
That's fine with Casey Affleck's character. That's kind of his whole thing.
Yeah,
he's
that's
so
true.
shut off
Yeah.
from the world. But then everyone else is the same way. There is a point to this movie. Like, you may be one of those people with the rest of the masses who can appreciate this film's daringness and its boldness, and how it doesn't want to give you an easy answer to the incredibly tough subject matter which it deals with, because this is an emotional roller coaster of a film. But if you're like us and you value character growth and story, you will be left unsatisfied by the end of this film. And we were ultimately unsatisfied is perhaps the best answer, because this is a technically good movie. There are a lot of strong performances in here, but it never goes anywhere. It just doesn't. And for that reason, above all, I can't really say that I would personally pick this to win Best Picture. I hear a lot of people saying it should because of all of the daring things it does and how it goes against all these norms, and it's not the default sort of structure that everything else has. But it doesn't achieve anything either, so how can I really say it's the best film of the year?
I'll be shocked if this wins Best Picture on Monday.
Hacksaw Ridge is going to win Best Picture.
I hope it does. Hacksaw Ridge really deserves it. Hacksaw Ridge is really good. And, like, we've talked a little bit about it before, like, we're both really big Max Landis fans.
Yeah.
And, like, Max Landis has, like... And the reason we like him so much is he has such, like, an amazing grasp on, like, character and character growth and like, reasonable way for these characters to change. And, like, because of that, I would rather rewatch a fine movie, but mediocre in a lot of ways, American Ultra, than rewatch this movie, because it's just so frustrating in that aspect. Well, American Ultra has, like, awesome characters that grow in, like, clever and meaningful ways, but the rest of the movie is, like... I mean, like, I like American Ultra because it's just, like, dumb. But, like, in the grand scheme of things, it's just... another movie but it's got good characters, and this movie is like, it's got a 96 on Metascore, but it's anyway. It is what it is.
Characters are interesting, and you know, I can appreciate the film being so daring and real. But I don't need to watch this movie twice because nothing happens, like at all.
See, you always bring up like how daring, and this isn't criticism on you, by the way. It's the criticism on like everyone else who was talking about this movie. Like everyone's just like, oh, it's so daring. Like, is it? Yeah. Like it has its moments for sure, but like it's like
even if the film had ended with a falling out between Casey Affleck and
even that would have been
Jason
great.
Hedges. Yeah, like that would have been interesting to have them grow apart at the end of the film because they just can't handle each other anymore. That would have been great to see, but it's just nothing. And so now, look, I'm gonna.
The movie ends how it begins.
Yeah, pretty much. So now I want to talk about quickly differences of an opinion, because when we walked out of this film, we actually saw this with quite a few people. There was two of us, my twin brother, my girlfriend, and then a couple of other friends.
My brother.
Yeah, your brother. And a couple of other friends we know from his brother's grade as well. When we got out of the movie, for the most part, everybody was saying how they either really liked it or they at least just liked it.
Yeah.
And then me and Edward just sort of got out and we were like, not to say it's a bad movie.
Which it's not.
It's definitely not a bad movie. Manchester by the Sea is good. But we were like, does this really deserve a Best Picture Oscar nomination? And everyone just turned on us. But then everyone else was just like, you don't understand the movie. You're wrong. It's great. It's perfect. My girlfriend in particular was just berating me like, I'd like to see you make a movie that good. I'm like, if I had this film's budget, I would make a movie, and I would not make this movie. We were just being hammered. People saying, you know, it is what it is. It's grounded. It's realistic. It's gritty. It deals with real life problems. It doesn't give you a pretty answer to anything. I'm like, that's all fine. I said, but what was it about? And then my girlfriend said, real people. And I said, doing? She said, life things. And I said, and the purpose of that was? And then she said, it has no purpose, it just is. And I'm like, okay. So it has no purpose.
Now you have a fake documentary.
Yeah. You have a fake documentary. It's like, but it's real and interesting. And I'm like, Hidden Figures and Hacksaw Ridge were both nominated for Best Picture, and they're based on true events. So they are more real than Manchester by the Sea. To say real is just why the movie is good. It's like saying The Dark Knight is a great movie because of how realistic it is. Like, that's not what makes The Dark Knight interesting. That's just the premise in which it is set. Don't be afraid to have a different opinion of a movie. We've come out now with a film that has a 96 Metacritic score, and we're just like, I'm not watching that again.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't win Best Picture. Even though most people think it should win Best Picture. In fact, there's a chance that it will.
Yeah.
Even among the nominees, it's one of the heavier contenders.
Yeah.
You have to view a film on its own merits. Don't let hype get into your head. We allowed that to happen when we saw Batman v Superman. I allowed that to happen when I saw Suicide Squad. I allowed it to get to my head. I refused upon first viewing to admit that those films were bad. To this day, I won't say that Batman v Superman is bad, but it's certainly not good either. And Suicide Squad is definitely bad. You have to watch a film on its own merits, and don't let what other people say influence your thoughts on the movie. We went in and we saw this, and we were able to have a fresh and original view of the film. If you thought that Manchester by the Sea was an excellent film, more power to you. In fact, you're going to find it easier to agree with people. We're in the minority here. But don't be afraid to be in that minority, because that's what art is. Art is about differences of opinion. Film is a medium, and most art mediums are subjective. And that's what this is. And this is us having a different opinion. And that's why I wanted to review Manchester by the Sea, even though it's getting close to 4 months old now. You said the Oscars were on Monday for us, so that's like Sunday everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I believe they're Sunday night in America, so Monday day
So
for
it's
us.
Monday
I
here.
believe. Oh, there's no time on
This
Fox
video
Television.
might be out by the time the Oscars are done.
Oh, hopefully it'll be up before that.
Hopefully. So I needed to talk about Manchester by the Sea today because I needed to talk about not only it as a film, but about film criticism in general and why you shouldn't be afraid to have a different opinion. I keep saying afraid because that's the word that keeps coming back to my mind. It's okay to have a different opinion. We had a different opinion here today.
It's like when I walked out of Hidden Figures and I was like,
It was fine.
it was fine, but,
I enjoyed
but no
it
one
more
really
than you did.
changed. Yeah, I enjoyed Hidden Figures way
Hidden
more than this
Figures
movie.
shouldn't win Best Picture either.
No, but that's alright. I thought Hidden Figures was way better than Manchester by the Sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
It's funny because I kind of have the same complaint about Hidden Figures that I do about Manchester by the Sea, but Hidden Figures is a much less serious offender of that than Manchester by the Sea. Is like,
yeah, definitely.
ugh.
So to conclude, Manchester by the Sea is a good movie, but
Until it isn't.
it's a good movie until it isn't. It just has a very dissatisfying ending. And for that, I can't say that I would pick it for the best picture, but we don't pick because we're not in the Academy, obviously. Ed, anything
day.
else you want to say?
One day.
One day, hopefully.
And just because we've talked about what we think of it and like our flaws of it, don't be afraid to go and see it. I think it's
Yeah, definitely. It is
Like,
worth
if-
seeing once because it explores things
Yeah.
that other movies wouldn't have the balls to explore.
Yeah, if you're into these sort of movies, it's definitely worth seeing once and thinking about it on your own terms and that sort of thing. So see if you can get to it. I would say, yeah, go for it. And if it does win Best Picture on Monday, congratulations to everyone who worked on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they all definitely did a good job.
Yeah.
They worked really hard.
It is something your girlfriend did bring up. She was like, oh, but like people would have worked so hard on it, and it's like, does that make
People work hard on every
Scooby
movie.
Doo a great movie?
No.
Does that make? No, I'm trying to think
I'd
of other
forgotten
bad
she
movies.
said that. That's a good point.
Like, and that really annoyed me.
People
But
worked really hard on
beside the point.
Spectre, the latest Bond movie. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We're sorry to bring... Fuck!
Oh, heavy
Can you,
as.
like, leave this black part in where it's just audio?
Oh yeah, I've done this before. It's great. A great technique.
And so now it just magically...
Audio visual sync 1 2 3. Oh my gosh, that.
Thank you so much for watching the review, guys. We're sorry if you're getting a little heavy on you towards the end there, but I thought it was important to talk about criticisms on movie and how films are subjective and not objective. If you enjoyed this review, you probably didn't because we had such a different opinion, but if you did, feel free to subscribe below. We do more content like this every week. We have a Facebook page you can like as well at facebook.com/working-title-YouTube. You can tweet out to both of us if you want to have a chat to us. I'm at BenjWaters01. He's at Edward Nowak. What am I forgetting, Edward? I'm forgetting something.
Nothing covered at all.
Did I?
Subscribe, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are 3 main basics.
All those things. Feel free to share if you want to. We'd greatly appreciate that. Of course, you don't have to. It's a free world. Do what you want. Go see Manchester by the Sea. Even though we didn't like it that much. You know? It's still a great movie. Until next time, guys. This has been an emotionally taxing review for me. I hope you enjoy what you go see this week. Have fun watching the Oscars. And until next time, have a good one.